Across Africa, millions of university graduates roam the streets, degrees in hand, searching for jobs that don't exist. Families sacrifice everything for education, believing it's the key to prosperity, only for graduates to face unemployment or low-paying, insecure work. The result is a generation forced into migration, risking everything for uncertain futures abroad. This crisis isn't just economic, it's a wound on the continent's soul, draining hope and talent. As the founder of Africa 2030 Vision and CEO of Oyiche Cybertech Solutions, I've seen this pain firsthand, and it drives my commitment to change. The time for urgent, innovative action is now. The journey from hopeful student to unemployed graduate is a story of broken promises. Years of study and family sacrifice end with graduates returning home, not as providers, but as dependents. Endless job applications yield silence or rejection, eroding self-worth and fueling anxiety. Depression and frustration are rampant, as dreams of success are replaced by daily survival. Africa is losing its brightest minds, not to war, but to a system that disconnects education from opportunity. These young people don't want handouts. They want a chance to contribute and build. Their struggle is a call for urgent, collective action. Despair is not our destiny. Africa 2030. Vision is a blueprint for transformation. The old model, more degrees, more universities, has failed. The real gap is between academic theory and practical skills. Our mission: integrate academic learning with vocational training, digital literacy, and entrepreneurship. We're building skill centers, innovation hubs, and mentorship networks across Africa. Every graduate should leave with both a certificate and a practical income-generating skill. This is a call to governments, educators, businesses, and youth unite for change. Africa's future is innovation, not migration. For many, education was a sacred promise, a path to dignity and success. Today, that promise feels like a burden, as degrees become reminders of opportunities that never materialized. The world has changed, but expectations haven't. Graduates are left stranded between high hopes and harsh realities. The emotional toll is immense. Shame, frustration, and a sense of failure haunt a generation. The promise of education has become a heavy weight, not a key to freedom. This is the first wound in the crisis of graduate unemployment. Job hunting for African graduates is a ritual of hope met by silence. Carefully crafted CVs vanish into the void. Responses, if any, are automated rejections. Interviews demand years of experience for entry-level roles or favor connections over competence. Each rejection chips away at confidence, reinforcing the myth that merit matters. The cycle of application and silence breeds powerlessness and despair. The silence of the CVs is the quiet death of dreams, one unanswered application at a time. This is the emotional battlefield of a lost generation. Graduate unemployment is a collective wound, deeply felt by families who sacrificed everything for a child's education. Parents sell livestock, take loans, and work tirelessly, all for the dream of their child's success. Graduation is a moment of pride, the reward for years of hardship. But when a graduate returns home jobless, hope turns to silent disappointment. The graduate feels guilt and helplessness, burdened by the weight of family sacrifices. This quiet tragedy plays out in millions of homes across the continent. The journey of an unemployed graduate is a relentless assault on their mental and emotional well-being. Each rejection chips away at their self-worth, creating deep psychological scars. Over time, self-doubt and isolation set in, leading to anxiety, depression, and a loss of hope. The scars of rejection are invisible, but they represent the silent death of a generation's spirit. The journey from proud graduate to demoralized job seeker is marked by a slow erosion of self-worth. At first, they see themselves as educated, hopeful, and ready to contribute. But as months pass, rejection and idleness chip away at their confidence. Eventually, dreams fade, ambition is lost, and their potential feels locked away. The true cost: a generation of broken spirits, convinced they are not worthy. When a ship is lost at sea, you look to the captain's deck. In Africa's unemployment crisis, that's our governments. For years, leaders have drafted inspiring policies and promised millions of jobs. But these plans gather dust, while youth wander jobless. Corruption and neglect eat away at progress, leaving trust shattered and futures uncertain. If governments have failed to steer the ship, then our universities have too often been content to stay anchored in the past. Many African academic institutions operate like ivory towers, disconnected from the noisy, fast-paced, and ever-changing reality of the world outside their walls. They continue to function based on colonial-era models of education that prioritize rote memorization and theoretical knowledge over practical application and critical thinking. The curricula in many fields have not been substantially updated in decades. As a result, universities have become echo chambers where professors teach the same theories they were taught, and students graduate with knowledge that is academically sound but practically obsolete. These institutions excel at producing graduates with degrees in fields like political science, sociology, history, and business administration. Students spend 4 years learning about complex theories of governance, social structures, and economic models. They can write lengthy essays on globalization or the principles of management, but they cannot build a website, manage a digital marketing campaign, install a solar panel, or write a single line of code. They are equipped with a vocabulary to describe the world's problems, but are given none of the tools to actually solve them. This creates a tragic mismatch. We have a generation of highly educated analysts in a world that desperately needs builders, creators, and innovators. A significant part of this failure is the near-total absence of meaningful collaboration between academia and industry. There is no structured pipeline that connects the classroom to the workplace. Internships are often treated as an afterthought rather than a core component of the learning process. Career services departments are typically underfunded, understaffed, and unable to provide relevant guidance. Universities do not actively seek partnerships with businesses to understand their evolving needs, nor do they create incubator programs or innovation labs where students can turn their ideas into real-world projects. They are content to award a certificate and wish their graduates good luck, effectively pushing them off a cliff without a parachute. This educational model does a grave injustice to the students who place their trust, time, and money in the system. They enter these institutions believing they will be prepared for the future, only to discover upon graduation that they have been prepared for a world that no longer exists. The university system, which should be a launchpad for opportunity, has instead become a bottleneck, producing certificate holders who are seen as unemployable by the very economy they are supposed to serve. It is a system that polishes the mind but leaves the hands empty, creating a generation of thinkers in a world that rewards doers. While governments write policies and universities teach theories, the private sector stands as the ultimate gatekeeper to employment. In Africa, that gate is often firmly shut. Employers demand experience for entry-level jobs, creating a catch-22. You can't get a job without experience, and you can't get experience without a job. Many companies see training as a cost, not an investment, and prefer to hire experienced staff or import talent. The private sector must become a partner in building the bridge between education and employment, or risk long-term stagnation. In many African homes, we worship degrees and look down on skills. A child in a graduation gown is celebrated, but a young mechanic is met with silence or shame. This mindset leaves millions of graduates jobless, while skilled artisans are in short supply. We must restore dignity to trade skills and teach our children there is honor in hands-on work. When our brightest minds can't find work, the economy bleeds. Every unemployed graduate is a wasted asset, their potential locked away. This crisis deepens as our most ambitious leave, taking their skills and dreams abroad. The cost is twofold. We lose those who leave, and those who stay are left on the sidelines. When a society offers no hope to its youth, it plants the seeds of its own destruction. Idle hands and frustrated minds become a dangerous combination. Graduate unemployment spills over from an economic problem into a national security emergency. Petty theft and fraud are on the rise, often by those who once dreamed of becoming professionals. Disillusioned youth become targets for extremist groups, seeking purpose and belonging. Job creation isn't just economic policy, it's vital for peace and security. Beyond the visible costs of economic decline, a silent epidemic sweeps Africa, a mental health crisis among unemployed graduates. Years of striving end in rejection, planting seeds of self-doubt and depression. This suffering extends to families, turning homes into places of tension and worry. The most tragic outcome is suicide, a heartbreaking price of our collective inaction. The ultimate cost of doing nothing is the most profound and perhaps the most permanent. It is the creation of an entire generation that has lost faith. When young people, after following all the rules and doing everything they were told was right, are still left behind, they don't just lose faith in their own abilities, they lose faith in the very systems that govern their lives. They become disillusioned with education, seeing it as a fraudulent promise. They become cynical about their leaders, viewing them as corrupt and indifferent. And most dangerously, they lose faith in the future of their own countries, believing that change is impossible and that their nation is fundamentally broken. This generational disillusionment is a cancer that attacks the future. A generation that does not believe in its country is a generation that will not build it. They disengage from the civic process, seeing no point in voting when they believe all politicians are the same. They withdraw from community life, feeling no sense of belonging or shared purpose. They hesitate to innovate or start businesses, convinced that the system is rigged against them and that their efforts will inevitably fail. This cynicism creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, as their withdrawal from public life ensures that the corrupt and incompetent remain in power, perpetuating the very problems that caused their despair in the first place. This loss of faith has consequences that will echo for decades. It creates a vacuum of leadership as the brightest minds of a generation either flee the continent or retreat into apathy. Who will be our future innovators, our ethical political leaders, our compassionate community organizers? A nation cannot move forward without a generation that is willing to carry the torch of progress. When that torch is extinguished by disillusionment, the nation is plunged into a prolonged darkness. We risk creating a future led by the least inspired and the most cynical, a future built on a foundation of apathy and distrust. This, then, is the final price of our inaction. It is not just about the jobs that are lost or the money that is not earned. It is about the futures that are stolen, the potential that is squandered, and the hope that is extinguished. It is about a generation of young Africans who look at the flag of their country not with pride, but with a sense of betrayal. The Africa 2030 vision is a desperate attempt to stop this from becoming our permanent reality. For too long, we've believed a certificate is the ultimate prize, but the world has changed. Today, competence is the new currency. It's not just what you know, but what you can do, create, fix, and build. Trade skills are not a fallback, but a frontline strategy for empowerment. The new currency is skill. It's time for Africa to start printing its own. A nation is not built by theories or policies debated in parliament. It is built by hands, by welders, carpenters, electricians, and farmers. These are the true architects of our society. Trade skills are the key to unleashing grassroots development across Africa. This is how real, sustainable economies are built, from the ground up. We empower millions of skilled hands to build our future, one skill, one business, one community at a time. For too long, we've looked down on working with our hands, seeing it as less than a white-collar job. But there is profound dignity in a skilled hand. There is honor in the work of the plumber, pride in the technician, and independence in creating value with your own skills. This is the foundation of self-respect and empowerment. Let's celebrate our builders, makers, and fixers, because a skilled hand is a thinking hand, and that is true dignity. When we speak of trade skills, we must not limit our imagination to the traditional crafts of the past. The 21st century has introduced a whole new universe of digital trades, and, honestly, Africa is perfectly positioned to join this global gold rush. The new trades are practiced not in a dusty workshop, but on a laptop. The new tools are not hammers and wrenches, but lines of code and software platforms. Skills like web development, digital marketing, graphic design, data analysis, and user experience design are the high-demand trades of the modern economy. They are the keys to unlocking a world of opportunity that, transcends borders and physical limitations. The beauty of these digital trades is that they level the playing field. A talented young coder in a small village in Kenya can build a website for a client in New York. A skilled digital marketer in Nigeria can run a social media campaign for a company in London. The internet has demolished the geographic barriers to employment. All that is required is a skill, a computer, and an internet connection. This presents an unprecedented opportunity for Africa's youth to leapfrog the limitations of their local economies and plug directly into the global workforce. We can export our skills and our creativity, bringing valuable foreign exchange back to the continent. This is why the Africa 2030 vision places such a strong emphasis on technology. We are not just training plumbers, we are training plumbers who can use an app to manage their clients and market their services online. We are not just training fashion designers, we are training designers who can use e-commerce platforms to sell their creations to the world. We are fusing traditional trades with digital fluency to create a new breed of super-skilled professionals. This combination is powerful. It makes our youth more efficient, more competitive, and, honestly, infinitely more scalable in their ambitions. A skill combined with technology is a recipe for exponential growth. We must urgently invest in digital literacy programs, coding boot camps, and tech hubs across the continent. We need to ensure that every young African has the opportunity to learn the language of the future. The digital economy is not waiting for us. It is moving at lightning speed. By empowering our youth with these 21st century trades, we are not just solving the unemployment crisis of today. We are positioning Africa to become a major player in the global economy of tomorrow. We are giving our generation the tools to mine the digital gold and build a prosperous, innovative, and connected future for us all. The Africa 2030 vision is not just talk. It's a practical, urgent response to the crisis facing our youth. The time for action is now. We're building a new ecosystem that empowers young Africans to become job creators, not just job seekers. Through Africa 2030 hubs, we're transforming education and opportunity, launching futures, not just training. We're building the plane as we fly it, because our youth deserve a bold, self-reliant Africa. The Africa 2030 vision is built on 3 pillars: practical skills, entrepreneurship, and technology. We provide hands-on training in trades and digital fields, making every young African rich in skills. We teach not just tasks, but how to turn them into businesses with mentorship and real-world support. Technology is our accelerator, giving local skills global reach and future-proofing our youth. Together, these pillars create a generation ready to shape Africa's future. The Africa 2030 vision recognizes a profound truth that is often overlooked in discussions about unemployment. You cannot build a prosperous future on a foundation of broken spirits. The psychological scars left by years of rejection, frustration, and hopelessness are real and debilitating. A young person can be taught a skill, but if their mind is clouded by depression, anxiety, and a shattered sense of self-worth, they will lack the confidence and resilience to use it effectively. Therefore, a core and non-negotiable component of our solution is a deep commitment to mental and emotional healing. We believe that restoring dignity is the first step toward building a sustainable future. Our programs are designed to be safe spaces where youth can heal and rediscover their value. We integrate mental health support directly into our training modules, providing access to counseling, peer support groups, and workshops focused on building self-esteem and resilience. We work to dismantle the crippling narrative that they are failures, helping them to understand that their unemployment is a result of a systemic failure, not a personal one. We guide them through a process of rebuilding their confidence, celebrating small wins, and setting achievable goals. This process helps to replace the voice of despair with a renewed sense of purpose and possibility. This holistic approach extends to fostering a new culture of purpose-driven leadership. We teach our youth that their work is not just about earning an income. It is about making a meaningful contribution to their communities. We encourage them to identify local problems that they are passionate about solving and to see their skills and businesses as tools for social impact. This shift in perspective is incredibly empowering. It transforms the pursuit of work from a desperate scramble for survival into a noble mission. A young person who believes they are building a better future for their community is far more motivated and resilient than one who is simply trying to earn a paycheck. By addressing the needs of the whole person, mind, hands, and heart, we are cultivating a new generation of leaders who are not only skilled and entrepreneurial, but also emotionally intelligent, compassionate, and ethically grounded. They will build businesses that are not just profitable, but also responsible. They will lead teams with empathy and integrity. This focus on healing the mind and nurturing the spirit is not a soft, secondary aspect of our vision. It is the very core of it. We are not just creating workers. We are raising a generation of whole and empowered human beings who will heal our continent as they build it. The Africa 2030 vision cannot succeed alone. The crisis of graduate unemployment is a wound on our continent, and its healing requires all of us. Governments, business leaders, educators, parents, and especially the youth must unite, each playing their part with passion and commitment. To Africa's youth, this is your vision. Rise up, learn new skills, support one another, and build a new Africa, together. Africa's graduate unemployment crisis has cast a long shadow, but this is not our final chapter. The Africa 2030 vision is our refusal to accept defeat, a call to action for youth, leaders, and communities to build our own future. The choice is clear: export our talent or build our future here. The future is in our hands. Let's build it together.